Hello everyone, I'm Varsha Murdeshwar, a financial planner and a firm believer that personal finance is 10% knowledge and 90% behavior. Today's workshop is about something deeply personal: how to financially adapt to life as new parents. This workshop is a part of Hera's return to work journey. Many of you are back at work or considering it and trying to balance sleep, savings, and spreadsheets all at once. This isn't a lecture on investing. It's a guided walk through everything you should rethink and rebalance now that your family has grown. Let's begin with what hits your bank account the quickest. Yes, you guessed it, newborn expenses. Welcome, little baby, the most wonderful gift to parents, but yes, also the most critical phase financially for new parents. Some of the challenges parents face are as follows: income may resume, but expenses increase drastically. Career re entry often comes with childcare costs, reduced bandwidth for financial planning and investments, and of course, emotional spending patterns. So, what are the common financial pressures post delivery? Recurring expenses like baby food, diapers, doctor visits, and vaccinations. Social events like naming ceremony, birthday, and gifting. Emergency costs, medical complications, and care. Lifestyle inflation, buying latest gadgets, nursery setup, and helper costs. As per social customs, parents might take care of certain expenses. However, if not planned and controlled well, this can get converted to credit card dues and personal loans. A new baby calls for a new budget. Include all baby essentials under dependent expenses. Could be 8 to 15,000 per month. Also estimate the cost of social events for the next 1 year. Reduce personal costs like transportation, eating out, personal accessories, etc. And don't forget the basic 50-30-20 rule. Needs 50%, wants 30%, savings investment 20%. Baby food and hygiene is basic needs, but spending a lot on social functions at the cost of savings is uncalled for. Know your limits. Here we present a realistic first year cost breakdown. Baby food, diapers, doctor visits, vaccinations, house help, nanny, toys, social events can be anywhere ranging from 1.5 to 3 lakhs per annum. As the household expenses rise, it's time to rework the emergency fund. Add all the monthly baby expenses as mentioned before to the overall household expenses to arrive at total monthly outflow. Build an emergency fund of 6 to 9 months of total outflow. This fund is to be maintained in easily accessible savings account or sweep in FD. Any shortfall can be funded by redeeming current investments like mutual funds. And half-yearly review of emergency fund is advisable. Now that we have looked at the outflows and emergency fund, let's review the existing term insurance. At this point, the term insurance should aim to cover future needs of all dependents, that is, parents, spouse, and newborn. Include living expenses for all and education marriage cost of the newborn. Review your current loans and liabilities. Arrive at the desired insurance amount. Check the current insurance cover and take a new cover for the shortfall. For example, if the desired insurance cover is Rs 2.5 crore and your existing cover is only Rs 1 crore, then you may take a new term policy for additional 1.5 crore. You may also add a critical illness and disability rider. If both partners are working, it is advisable to split the cover as per income earned and current net worth. Next up, health insurance reviews. Add the newborn to your corporate and personal medical cover as per company policy. Mostly this is allowed after 90 days. Check for benefits like NICU support, vaccinations, and pediatrician visits. Review all benefits of your policy, and if found lacking, you have the option of top-up or porting to a new insurance company. While you continue managing the baby and the finances, soon it's time to return to work. This brings about new challenges and added responsibilities. High costs, low savings, but also renewed hope in the form of HR support and childcare options. Know your options and choose what best suits your situation. For example, flexi return plan, work from home, creche tie-ups, etc. Financial planning support not just finances but smoother emotional transition too. With parenthood comes added responsibility, especially regarding future of the child. Start with child-focused investments in a mix of debt and equity, like PPF, Sukanya Samruddhi for the girl child, mutual fund SIP for education or marriage goal, focused endowment plans with guaranteed returns. Keep it simple. Monthly SIP over irregular lump sum and desired flexibility over locking up for long term. Thinking long term can feel hard now, but small steps make a big difference in the long term. Let's see how. For example, you start a small SIP of Rs 10,000 per month when the child is born. Increase the amount by 10% every year, meaning second year SIP will be 11,000, third year 12,100 and so on. Continue relentlessly for 18 years. By this time, the child is ready to go to uni. And at an assumed rate of 12%, you have accumulated a corpus of 1.35 CR. Smart, isn't it? No stress, only discipline. Use the formula. Start early, invest monthly, gain from the power of compounding, and reduce future pressure. All this may seem overwhelming. Hence, it is essential to rebalance household roles and budget. Some pointers. Financial planning is not just the earning partner's job. Both partners should share responsibility like expense ownership, investing, and decision-making power. Set recurring money check-ins mostly 2 to 4 weeks as a couple. To maintain an overall healthy family budget, you need to tweak your expenses to suit the current situation. Reduce food delivery and unused subscriptions. Delay big-ticket purchases. Maintain health and fitness, bonding and other essentials, and redirect it towards baby education, household help, and postpartum recovery. Basically, reframe spending from cutting back to prioritizing. Managing a baby at home and a full-time career outside is no mean task. You need to reassess work hours versus cost of childcare as also the desire or compulsion to return to full-time work. It's truly a balance between managing career and cash flows. Choose the right solution. Phased work, freelancing or side gigs, build an extra financial cushion for 6 to 12 months of reduced income. Your HR team can be more helpful than you think if you ask the right questions. Ask your HR, can you help break down childcare benefits? Is there reimbursement for daycare therapy? What's the top-up process for health insurance? And HR can provide you solutions. They might be having a financial wellness workshop. They could support spouse medical additions and could also offer planning support for unpaid leave. So now, let's reiterate the red flags to avoid. First, not revising your term cover. Your insurance needs should keep pace with rising expenses and future commitments. Review insurance cover at every new milestone. Next, using credit card for recurring baby expenses. Unchecked use of credit card can lead to a debt trap. Use credit card only for budgeted expenses. Pausing investments completely. This would affect other planned goals. Hence, don't pause completely. Continue investing lower in amounts and get back on track as soon as possible. Skipping health checkup to save money. Preventive care is always cheaper than treatment. Also, it might be covered under insurance, so do it anyway. Not budgeting for child care and self-care. These are essential expenses, not luxuries, hence an essential part of your budget. And finally, a recap. We discussed the key takeaways for the new parents' journey. Here goes. Revising the budget financial plan to accommodate your growing family. Increasing the emergency fund for unexpected baby needs. Buying more term cover and comprehensive health plan. Start child-focused investments early. Use the power of compounding. Work together with your partner and also seek help from HR. And finally, build a sustainable rhythm to have the right balance between career and motherhood. So here's my story. My daughter today is around 21 years old, and this is my story about what I did at that time. At that time, there was no structured thing as financial planning. But as I have mentioned before, financial planning is not so much about knowledge; it's more about common sense. And 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 to say that when a child is born, every mother needs that you have more and more. You need more and more money for the future. When my daughter was born, I was actually not working. So my main aim was to get back to work, which I couldn't do immediately. I started full-time employment with HDFC Bank exactly a year after she was born, and that was really well planned. HDFC Bank gave me a new perspective towards investments. That was my lucky break. I had never known much about SIPs and mutual funds. This was in 2004. I started by investing in SIPs, mutual funds, and together with FDs, ULIPs. We also took an endowment and insurance, increased our term insurance. And today we have been able to ride the wave smoothly. Today my daughter is graduating from an university in Canada. So start early, start small, be relentless, be disciplined, and you will definitely achieve your goals towards your child. All the best.